name is Dr. Raphael Gunner, and I'm a clinical psychologist in Los Angeles, California. You're about to watch one of my Psych Stops, a series of brief talks on how to live skillfully. These talks are the fruit of many years spent trying to figure out how to find contentment. I hope that this talk is useful to you, and I appreciate your taking the time to listen to my thoughts. The concept of mental illness as suffering. Let's say that you've got a huge river running through the center of a valley. You look at the river and you say, wow, what an amazing source of energy. I'm going to build a dam, I'm going to harness that river, I'm going to light up a city. You build the dam, you put in the turbines, you open the sluices, the current rushes through, turns the wheels, and the city is illuminated. Let's say one day those sluices get stuck and the river rushes up against that closed dam. You're standing in the dry riverbed on the other side of that dam, leaning up against the dam, you would start to feel the masonry tremble and then crack and then fall away, and then before you know it, the whole structure would be shaking, and then boom, it would explode and fall apart. Now, let's say that river is the flow of emotion that goes through your body. When everything is working well, the emotion moves through the sluices of consciousness into awareness, where you can feel those feelings, think about them, and use your reflections on your feelings to inform your actions. But when those emotions are big and painful and scary, we often find ways not to feel them. So we distract ourselves from our emotions by doing drugs, alcohol, overworking, over-exercising, having promiscuous sex, spacing out, you name it, we do it. We figure out ways not to feel our emotions. The consequence is that we start to tremble and crack and eventually fall apart. You could say that the obsessional thinking, the compulsive behavior that define all kinds of anxiety, and the overeating, undereating, oversleeping, undersleeping, the moving too quickly, moving too slowly, and the hopelessness that define depression are also expressions of this trembling that occurs when we shut down the sluices of our emotions and don't permit them to come into our awareness. You could say that anxiety and depression and many other forms of mental illness are forms of suffering that are caused by our inability to process our pain. As I've said in the Psych Spot on suffering and pain, suffering is caused by turning away from pain. And now I want to say that many forms of mental illness, those that are not biologically based, are forms of suffering that are caused by turning away from our pain. The way out of suffering is to turn toward our pain. The way out of anxiety and depression, to turn toward our pain. If we do so, the anxiety will go away, the depression will go away, and we won't have to act in all of those terribly self-destructive ways. And we will be able to feel the pain, think about where it comes from, why it's there, what it means, use those reflections to inform our actions, and while the pain certainly hurts, and it may leave us feeling for some period sad, nonetheless, in the long run, it permits us to move on and to make the best of our lives and to move toward happiness and contentment. That's the essence of mental illness as suffering.